Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cardaholics of all ages, welcome back to Big Al's Cards. Thank you so much for watching. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing a recent grading price change that happened that you might not be aware of just yet. But if you check this company's website, it is indeed what's happening. And I think it's great. So let's talk a little bit about it. So if you don't know who SGC is, SGC is, in my opinion, one of the top three grading companies. I would say number two behind PSA. And SGC has always prided itself on being quick and efficient and very transparent in terms of its pricing and in terms of its speed. And if they are not up to what they advertise as their own par, then they make up for it and they apologize for it. And they acknowledge that they're going to do better, something that I think that PSA could really learn something from. So SGC has always been a relatively affordable option compared to PSA, and it's especially a quicker option. You might be familiar with SGC because Topps does tend to partner with them in terms of new releases. So Topps Chrome had a $9 grading special. Series 2 had one. Series 1 had one. So they do special grading submissions. I think Bowman had one. I know Bowman Chrome's probably going to have one. Topps Update should have one. And they're really popular because they are relatively cheap, again, and they're quick. In terms of their slabs, they're really nice quality. They call them tuxedos because they're a black slab. They look great with vintage cards. Modern they look great with as well. And I'll go ahead and say right now at this point, I'm not sponsored by SGC or anything like that. I've actually never submitted to SGC before, but this news that I saw today is going to be a key deciding factor in a little submission that I'm preparing. So SGC is I just think it's a good product. So SGC announced on their website today, and I saw this on Twitter through another person, and I'm sure SGC will tweet about something if they haven't already, but SGC is lowering their prices for their basic service to $15 per card. $15 per card. That is huge because that's very cheap, especially considering the old days of PSA and BGS grading. And they're still advertising 5 to 10 business day turnaround. So if you want cards slabbed quickly, then this is really going to be a huge option for you. Now, the thing to consider is that SGC has not yet surpassed PSA in terms of value. And I'll be frank, I don't see that happening in terms of secondary market value. However, getting your cards graded by SGC still does something to elevate your card's worth. I would also even say that it's a great way, if you just want to get some cards slabbed for your PC, then this is the way to go. It's so cheap and quick that I don't know how you couldn't say yes to this. So I have two cards. I'm actually preparing a grading submission right now. And when I actually submit these cards, I will do a more in-depth video on these. But the two cards that I'm looking at submitting are this Alexa Bliss, Allen and Ginter from WWE Heritage, and this Vlad Players Weekend short print from 2020 Gypsy Queen. So both of these cards, they're on the more vintage style look to them, and I thought they both looked very good in terms of their corners, their edges, the surface wear. I thought everything looked pretty solid. So these are cards that I've decided that I'm going to submit. Now, where I submit them, of course, has been dependent on pricing and just where I'm at with my budget and everything. But I feel like now with this SGC news, these would look good in an SGC tuxedo. I feel like that $15 price point is something that you can't beat. Even if PSA lowers their price to $15 on the most basic service, they're still dealing with upcharges. They're still dealing with longer wait times. Yes, PSA gets a ton more submissions than SGC does. That's just because everybody wants that highest possible resale value on their graded card. And that's fine. That's great. But I feel like this SGC deal is a game changer because now a lot of people who might not have been into grading cards, I think will do so because it's a cheaper way to get cards graded and it's quicker. If you just want a quick slab on your card, you send to SGC, right? At least this is how it looks so far. Whether they'll be able to keep up with the 5 to 10 business day turnaround, I don't know. I hope that they will because they seem like a really great company. Again, I'm not sponsored by SGC in any way. I've yet to submit anything to them, but now I'm probably going to. I really think that this is a game-changing move for the hobby and in a positive direction, especially if you consider that newer collectors and people who just might not have had the ability to submit to grading, or they just don't want to wait as long for PSA, now have an affordable, quick option to get their cards slabbed, whether it be for PC or a bump in the resale value. I think this is a great option, and I think I'm going to be taking advantage of it personally. I hope that other people will as well, because again, SGC really seems like a transparent, solid company. Again, I am not sponsored by them in any way, shape, or form. They have never reached out to me, anything like that. But I've always kind of admired their product and their stance in terms of grading. So I just like to talk highly about them. And this is, I think, this $15 per card grading and 5 to 10 business day turnaround. I think that's finally going to get me to pull the trigger and submit something to SGC. I mean, you really can't go wrong with $15 per card grading, especially if the cards are going to stay in your PC, or if it's something that you're really confident will sell in the secondary market for a solid increase in its value. But that's just the news that I've seen today. Let me know what you think about this. If you guys are going to be submitting to SGC, I'm sure they'd love it. Let me know. I'd be very curious to know what you guys think about this. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, stay tuned for more videos. They are actually coming, I promise. And until next time, bye-bye.